if you can just get below 14% body fat, work out, dress nice, which I'm not a big fan of, but all that. Put in the extra effort to become a top 5% guy. The women will do the work for you.
Yes.
And you save way more time than you spend at the gym or dieting or whatever. And dieting doesn't take time. It's just not eating what you want.
Myself and at least probably my children's generation, I think would have an easier time getting in that top 10 or 20% of men than at any point in history.
Yes.
Meaning like it requires exceptionalism to get in the top 10%, but probably the least amount of exceptionalism that you've ever had. I'm just in shape and I don't listen to Disney. I read more than 5 books a year. You understand what I'm saying? I'm below 14% body fat. I make over $100,000 a year and I have masculine boundaries when it comes to my dating life. I think you're already in the top 10%. So I see it both ways. From a socioeconomic standpoint, I do see a decline when it comes to dating. 6 in 1,000 women want to get married. A decline in the birth rate, 56% divorce rate, et cetera. Those things increasing. The bottom quartile of men having no sexual options. I believe that's going to grow to a third and then maybe a half. I think that's where we're headed in that direction. But at the same time, I do think that if you're just one of those people who's willing to unplug from, the matrix, and I don't mean the matrix in the way that like everybody in the red pill is saying, but like unplug from this traditional way of thinking or the way of thinking that's being taught to you by major media outlets and big tech, et cetera. I just think if you just don't listen to them, you can put yourself in the top 20%.
Right, but here's my question: are women's standards objective or subjective?
Well, they're subjective. So women's standards would be subjective, but the thing is, I think because as men we have this ability to make them laugh, and then they want to sleep with us, whereas they can't do the same with us, because we have, like, for instance. For women on offense, it's just they're throwing it up to Calvin Johnson every time, and he's just catching touchdowns. But for us, we've got 5 receivers, backs and receivers we can get the ball to. They're just not as good as Calvin Johnson. Meaning, like, we have several different ways to score. We can good looking and tall and rich, but we can also be super funny, have incredible social alignments, and show pre-selection. So we have way more plays that we can run, whereas girl is just the fucking touchdown play. I'm really hot. And so because of that, I think whereas their standards may be subjective, their standards can be, I don't want to say manipulated, but taking them into a familiar environment. There's just so many ways
tactics and strategies.
Correct. There's so many more tactics and strategies that men have than women have. And if they can figure out which one works for them, again, the short, fat dude who is really great with a guitar and becomes a famous guitar player, like Jelly Roll, like, you know what I'm saying? He's fucking hot girl. They got dude up in Tennessee, or Florida, whatever. He's fucking all these hot girls, face covered in tattoos. He's overweight. You can overcome. With men, there's ways to overcome almost anything.
Right.
Well, for women, maybe not so much.
Right. But I think with the kind of the general advice there of, because it's been around, like you see like, okay, what does it take to be a top 10% Zoomer male? Well,
Sure.
Not living at home, not being fat, you're in the top 35%.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't think that's going to be enough. You can't just be not fat, you got a job, and you don't live at home. That's still, like, I have objective standards of women where I'm like, there's got to be a personality, but you have to meet these. I don't care what the other women are doing. I can't get it up for you just because you're the top 20%, but the rest of the 75 is so bad that makes you the top 25%. So I wouldn't just like, go for a walk and don't get too fat and have a job. No, dude, you guys. Well, here's another thing about efficiency. It's called Bizarro World, or where the laws of physics switch. I even did a video called "Don't Go to College, Go to the Gym If You Want to Get Girls." Look, if you go and become a top 5% guy, you don't have to deal with half this shit.
Yeah.
You still have to be charming and charismatic. Yes, it's certainly every advantage to the learn to dance, become a guitar player, going into environments. Those should all be there. But if you can just get below 14% body fat, work out, dress nice, which I'm not a big fan of, but all that. Put in the extra effort to become a top 5% guy. The women will do the work for you.
Yes.
And you save way more time than you spend at the gym or dieting or whatever. And dieting doesn't take time. It's just not eating what you want. So I would, it doesn't take that much today to become a top 20%. I don't think the top 20% zillennial is still going to attract a woman. I
see what you're saying. They still have to do certain things that are exceptional.
Right.
I agree with you. I just think if you can, one of the things that you can do is that exceptional is have really good social alignments. Like it's very beneficial for me, if a girl comes into town and I'm like, who's your favorite DJ? And she's like, oh, yeah, I love Tiesto. I was like, all right, I'll take you on stage. And it's just like effortless. The date just goes real well,
Yeah,
Aaron.
imagine that.
Like it's just like it's a real easy
I
date.
bet you she doesn't flake out at the last minute.
She shows up on time. She's very excited to hang out. And I'm the first person she calls whenever she comes back to Vegas.